But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that was talked about on here, I am generally either in favor of or I'm just, you know, looking forward to. Again, a lot of stuff that was not in the producer's letter because, as he was saying, the producer's letter is pen to paper, something that is going to be happening. Whereas on the stream, he can talk more generally about things where he's like, we think we can do this, we are trying to do this, or we're scoping out the work on this, which is a little bit different. So stuff like where he's like, you know, Epic Destiny and Universal Tree this year, probably. That's what they want to do, probably. But because they didn't put it in the producer's letter, they don't have to hard to commit. So if a Epic Destiny Universal Tree doesn't show up, then we know there was some type of complication, but, you know, it was something they are trying to do right now. And it's also, you might make the argument of like, oh, well, you know, obviously he'll just say anything because, you know, he wants people to pay for and buy the game. And there is some truth to that. That is something that, you know, that's literally marketing. But on the other hand, you know, there were things where he pushed back and said, no, we are not doing that, or no, this thing is not on the table, because I would like to think that it's okay. I don't think it's a bait and switch when a company plans to do something and then has to shift their plans and change things, and, you know, that's working on design. Also here in this quest, you're going to notice I'm going to be ignoring most monsters in this adventure, and the reason for that is because I'm going to be pulling them all into one big pack and then deleting them to conserve spell points. So there's that. I'm taking so much damage. It's a lot of fire. I should be okay for this, but we'll see. With the stun. We've got the red alert. This is sketchy, or sketchier than when I did it on my fighter, where the fighter was super tanky and basically took no damage, because I don't have armor class or physical resistance rating or magical resistance rating on this character, but that's okay. It still works. Also, you have to have death block in this quest or you will die. Yes, the monsters have Vorpal. You know, if death block, you die. It's just how it works. We got 2 new raids this year. So we're going to have a raid in the mini expansion and also a raid in Q3, which is cool. There's no new races coming out this year. So they're not releasing a new race this year. They just said they're not doing it. My thinking behind that is they increased the quality of the races. Tabaxi is a much more detailed race. It has way more animations and different visuals that it does. Like its face moves, its eyes look around. It has more joints, so you can like they can move the hands and customize more things about it. So from where I stand, I understand why they are likely saying that, you know, they're going to be kind of releasing less races, or at least not as many, because they kind of raised the bar on themselves artistically of what they wanted to do with it. And so by raising the bar artistically, they are more expensive. It takes more time. It's going to take a longer time for the artist to put stuff together. They need more details. So they either need to get more animators or, you know, figure something out. So that makes sense. We're going to put it All Quiet on the Western Front when we watch it in German, though. She wants it in English. I remember, I think I watched that movie in high school. I think we read the book and then watched the movie when we were learning about World War I. It is a very sad movie. It's about World War I, so that is the expectation, but yeah. What else? Oh, the VIP and the VIP rewards. I actually think the VIP reward system that they're going to be implementing, I mean, it's more of a wait and see as to what type of rewards they want to add into the system. I don't personally have an issue with what they suggested, which is more along the lines of, you know, following in the footsteps of games like Final Fantasy XIV, where the longer you are subscribed to the game, you get a benefit for being subscribed for a very long time. So if you're subscribed for 1 month, you get X thing. If you're subscribed for 2 months, you get another thing. If you're subscribed for 3 months, you get another thing. So it's like a build-over subscription, because they can customize exactly what you get. So what I mean by that is they can say, okay, well, you know, maybe the first month, if you're subscribed, you get a complimentary XP potion, and then after 6 months, they give you a permanent 5% increase on experience points generated on your account, or something like that. You know, like those battle pass systems? Well, good, it's not a battle pass system. They actually got rid of it for the most part? Oh, then how come I still get it? I'm currently subscribed to Final Fantasy, and I get an email every month telling me that I have a new thing. So if they got rid of it, that's news to me. I recently got a Cloud Strife cosmetic, so my character can dress up and look like Cloud Strife. So that is interesting. Yeah, so anyway, it's not a battle pass system. A battle pass system is like a seasonal reset. This is not it's not a seasonal reset. I'm doing a bit, that's all? Oh, I gotcha. So it's just something they tried to do and then they haven't touched it. That makes sense. And what else is on here? And then because they're doing the VIP reward thing, they push back UI scaling. It's something they want to work on, but they are doing the VIP stuff first because it requires the same human beings, so you can't do both at the same time. I like it. I like it if I can stop for a month or so, then resume. And I think that's the system. It's not a like a streak, like continuous. Like you have to subscribe for 20 months in a row. But it'll probably oops, that's the wrong way. But it'll be more along the lines of if you're subscribed for 20 months total, then you get an extra reward. I'm gonna go back here and check the rares just in case there's something cool. Who knows? Maybe I'll pull a Ring of Spellscoring.
Structure houses the tomb of the Wizard King.
But yeah, so there's that. They're doing a character model revamp in DDO. They said they're doing a character model revamp with the goal of specifically updating the original character models in the game. So that's your, your elf, dwarf, human, and all that. I'm in favor of this idea. Some of them look pretty old. They did add some newer hairstyles, but outside of that, the characters look kind of clunky and old. So hopefully they add that. That would be good. So we'll see about that. Two-factor authentication is something that they are working on. They said that they're relaunching the store in early summer of 2023, or at least that's the current time frame. And after they get the new store, they're going to be putting out a new launcher for the game. And after they get a new launcher is when they can finally do two-factor authentication, which makes sense because you need to authenticate your account in both the store and the launcher. And if those things can't handle two-factor authentication, they can't just add it in and then just wait while people can't log into the game. So two-factor authentication is on the way. It's going to come after the store revamp this year and the new launcher also probably this year. Hopefully we'll have glasses that aren't painted on. It would be nice to have glasses that aren't painted on, but yeah, we'll see. You're telling me you don't like Jeets' glasses? So there's that. Lag patch. So they did mention that there's a lag patch. They have apparently been addressing something that has, or found something that has caused significant bouts of lag within the game. And so they are, scaling up to specifically address that. So hopefully if that's something that sounds interesting to you, or not something that's interesting, hopefully it'll actually be useful. We're going to have to wait and see exactly what that is, because it is possible that they're just saying there is a lag patch because they want to placate people, and they don't actually have a big lag patch. But to my knowledge, there is going to be some larger patch once they work through some larger systems on the back end and rearrange some things. Usually that's how that happens. Lag is an incremental thing. It is not just one piece causes lag. Much like if you think of a computer like a busy construction site, you will have bottlenecks, and there will always be a bottleneck. But solving the bottleneck doesn't get rid of all of the lag. It just makes a new bottleneck somewhere else. If your slowest worker is Joey, and Joey's just, not really hauling ass, just, being real slow and not really moving very fast, then when when Joey starts to pick his act up together, now it's Carl who's slow. Now Carl is the slow one, and now we gotta, wait for... Alright, and once they pick up their act, it's gonna be somebody else. So there's usually always... It's a multifaceted thing, but hopefully this will be something big. The patch will add some lag. Yeah, exactly. Here's line of code. Yeah, it's just, we had this patch that made it so the game processed triple the data for no reason. The game had to play Pong with all of the data, so it would actually just send the data to the servers, and then back to client, to the servers, back to client, and then whoever dropped it, whoever couldn't catch the data, that's the one that actually displays. So that's why it's extra lag feature. They have a Reaper update where they said they want to remove the Reaper trees.
Goddamn Joey Chestnut not eating those hot dogs fast enough and slowing down the offloading trucks.
I think that the only person who is probably not slow is Joey Chestnut. That is the fastest Joey in the universe, I think. I'm pretty sure he's probably the fastest. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the fastest Joey known to existence. The hot potato feature, exactly.
Within this ancient structure lies the tomb of the
Yeah, they're planning on updating the Reaper system. So instead of having 3 Reaper trees where you spend points, instead you just have 1 Reaper track that you go along. And as you get higher Reaper points, you just go further and further along the track. And so instead of choosing and customizing your Reaper points, you just get stats in Reaper mode. And you'll have the option to be able to share your Reaper points with other people. I don't have a problem with this at all. This tree is not interesting. These trees are interesting. I get spells, abilities, I get to change up my character and how it plays. These trees are literally just numbers increases. I don't care. If they make it in a line, I think that's perfectly fine. I do not think that the Reaper trees give a significant amount of value in terms of character customization, because again, it's just numbers. I, again, don't care. So them turning into a line so it's simplified. Also, apparently, it will be able to reduce a lot of performance issues. For those that don't know, the Reaper trees, since their inception, have had major performance problems throughout the entirety of the game. And so if they can revamp the system so it has a much better system, that would be great. With 3 or 4 tracks, they are adding 1 track. That is the system. How exactly it's going to look, I don't know, but they have already said that they are changing it to have 1 track. It's going to be just 1. That's it. In theory, they could have something along the lines of, like, you just pick the track and then it gives you a focus on that thing. Maybe. That could be interesting. So you could just have it so it would be like, do you want to have physical, magical, or whatever? And then that is the track that your game is on that character. But at the end of the day, I literally don't care. The Reaper tree is very boring and has no interesting decisions in it at all. So it doesn't matter.
The air in the mine is thick with children.
Right. Except the thing is, in the future system, if somebody has more Reaper points than you, then when you play with them, you can get a percentage of their Reaper points. So let's just say you have 20, and you join a group with somebody who has 150, then you would count as having a higher amount of Reaper points when you're in that group. So you can be further along in that instance. Is the idea. Yeah, right now the general progression that almost every single person will use is 21 points in Grim Barricade for this, and then whatever tree you actually want to spend your points in. Unless you're a tank, then you go all Grim Barricade. That's pretty much it. So as I said, I'm not saying it's the worst system ever, but I don't care for it. Yeah, it's probably gonna be more like, yeah, more Diablo 3, if I had to guess. They also said because it's a track, they can actually add rewards along it, like unlocks and stuff. So you could unlock your cosmetics along the track instead. So imagine if instead of having to buy your Reaper wings, it would just be at 75 points. So they would just have the track, and at 75 there's Reaper wings, and you could just drag and drop it onto your track instead of having to buy it. You just get it, as an example. What else? Or like, you know, they could actually have one of the levels be like, grant 1% more Reaper XP gained or something like that. And add in other things. Different colors each point. Yeah, maybe you unlock the colors. Either way, I don't have any negative thoughts about that change because I, as I said, don't like the current implementation of Reaper trees. I never have. Again, they're boring, and I don't know why you get stronger by playing in Reaper mode. That is very counterintuitive when Reaper mode is meant to be challenging. So Reaper points have never made sense to me personally. Like when they first announced it, I was very against Reaper points. I remember streaming and talking about it and, you know, making my opinion heard. I think Reaper points are not good. I think multiple tracks put us in the same place performance-wise. I mean, possibly. I don't know how the game works. I'm not a computer guy. Also, they were talking about armor class, and because somebody was like, armor class sucks, are you guys going to fix armor class? And the Severland said basically, he's like, we're not planning on updating armor class. And he went on a bit of a longer discussion about how DDO defense is complicated because you have armor class and multiple layers of defense, and it's not clear which defense you should go for, which is true, and how the value of each defense, which is true, and also that armor class has different layers of effectiveness where there is a curve, but the curve gets wider the higher level you are. So if you're lower level, the armor class is like very hard to tell the difference between armor classes versus if you're higher level, where there's a bit of a bigger curve. But also, personal opinion, I don't think armor class sucks at all. I think armor class is very good as somebody who uses armor class and dodges attacks all the time. When I was streaming literally yesterday, I was running a bunch of R7s yesterday, and did I get hit? I was recalling? No! I was streaming a bunch of R7s yesterday, and in it, I, on my Warlock, had multiple Doom Reapers miss me because of my armor class, because it was higher. So, yeah. You don't have higher Reaper points? Yeah, but they don't balance Reaper now. So I don't know why they would balance Reaper in the future. Also, I am stuck again. Yay! This is the second time this happened in 2 days. Like, they don't currently bounce Reaper mode right now, so I don't know why they wouldn't do it in the future. Sunfest 2023? No, not yet. It's just, isn't my shirt? It's an older shirt. You can tell because it says 2020 on it. But yeah, I'm wearing this shirt for 2 reasons. One, it's a good looking shirt. I like the old design. And 2, because I've been eating more salads, I actually lost a little bit of weight and I fit into the shirt when I didn't anymore. Or I didn't. So I just fit in the shirt again, which is very cool. The champs just don't add enough. Yeah, I agree with that. Hey, I'm back in the world. Chat server is unavailable. That's fine. As long as I'm not dead. What else was here? They know that there's a problem with imbue threat, and they want to fix it. So they are aware that that is an issue, and that is something they're fixing. And finally, we are definitely going to be seeing supporter packs for DDO. If you don't know what a supporter pack is, here is an example of a supporter pack from the Lord of the Rings Online, which is the game that they also own. They did it there first. And the idea behind a supporter pack is it's basically a way to get you to spend more money by giving you more things for your money. So right now, when you buy DDO points, you get DDO points. But what if they had a pack, and if you buy it, you buy the $60 pack, you get $60 worth of points, just like you would normally get if you spent $60 worth of points, but you also get some cosmetics. And you may be wondering, well, why would I do that? Because what if you would usually only buy $20 worth of points? Now you go, maybe I will buy $60 worth of points because the cosmetics look cool. So now you have $60 worth of points, which you weren't already going to buy, and cosmetics. I actually think supporter packs are not a bad idea because it's just added value on something you're already going to spend your money on, possibly. And it's also just classic upselling, which is a very tried and true sales tactic. Oh, did the producer's letter come out? Yes, it did. We talked about it earlier today.
This enormous crack leads to the Vulkoorim spiral.
Armor drops would be good for me, but farming in this game is evil. It can be tedious to farm items. I totally understand you there, dude. It can be very, very tedious. Oh no! Prislas was slain by invisible volume trigger at level 20. Oh no! And now, 20 to 23. I'm looking for people. Search. Groups. And we have Prison of the Mind. Right here. This is where they died. Prison of the Mines. This is Vaughn 2. So what happened is, one of these people It's only these two. So one of these two went forward while somebody was standing before where the fire giant is in Vaughn 2. They went forward, causing the fire to erupt on the bridge, and that is a instant kill, no damage. It is just a straight up instant kill. Your character is removed from the game. Gets people all the time. Very sad. Very sad to see.
Careful not to spill any of the contents. Cries of alarm sound out
You hate
from
to
the
see it,
upper
but
reaches
it is
of
what it
this
is.
chamber. Drow are coming for you.
Game is pure evil. It's out to get you, man. Your armor looks good. It does. And I also don't know if they're going to be adding more than just that to the 17th anniversary. So if it's going to be just like the armor or what.
These doors are meant to keep invaders out, not in.
I have a wand? Okay, I was wondering why my damage looks low. I have a wand in my hand. Duh. Why does that exist? I don't know. I think it's supposed to prevent you from, like, backing up to get away from the giant. They don't have that anywhere else? Instant kills? They have tons of instant kills. Jump. That's why people die to the volume mechanics. But yeah, that is also an old mechanic. They don't do instant death very often in the newer game design. That is true. With the Dark Hunter Ranger, a lot of people were wondering if they're going to be going back to the old design paradigm of traps in every quest and traps in the way in every quest, and not just on optionals. I highly doubt the Stone Games is going to like revert to an earlier state of design where they put traps everywhere. They might, but I don't think that. Oh, dude! Oh my God! That's another guy. It's the same place. Oh my God. How is the fire up for so long? Dude, the giant has like only like 8,000 health on epic. What? How is the giant not dead? Oh my God, I'm straight up shocked right now. I have no idea what's happening in that video game. What is going on? What is happening to these people? What's going on in their lives?
Vulkoorim the hunter utters one final call for retribution. Hear the screams of scuttling lead nearby. Someone or something
I hope everybody's doing okay.
stalking you.
That is, yeah, that's two people dying to the same quest mechanic, basically. That's an instant kill. Damn, dude. I can't even chat. I'm still not even in chat. I can't even see people talk about it because I'm still not in the game server. Or in the chat server. Well, that would be annoying. Best defense light. Yeah, it literally says on the screen, dude. So you have an effect called Extraordinary Virtue. That is an effect from Divine Crusader. And it makes your weapons light. That's what you have. Extraordinary Virtue. If you're wondering how you still have it, there is a bug in the game that if you this affects pretty much every weapon effect in the whole game. If you reincarnate while you have one of those effects active, they stay on the weapon. So you must have been holding that in the past on a Divine Crusader, reincarnated, and now that shield permanently has best defense. Or, yeah, the best defense. It currently is made of light. Important note, shields being made of light is basically irrelevant, because all that does is mean that your weapon doesn't take damage when monsters attack you, or when you hit monsters with it. Pulled from a chest last night, never equipped. Well, like I said, I'm literally looking at it, and it has the Extraordinary Virtue effect on it, so that is the Divine Crusader effect. Yeah, then it looks like you just got a bug. I have no idea how that would even be in the game. But that is the Divine Crusader effect, so it looks like a bug. Can I have that shield? Maybe somebody reincarnated so hard it affected every shield in the entire game. I don't know.
A palpable aura surrounds
There's the shield with bonus applied. So your perfect shield mastery.
the way is made clear.
I don't think that's perfect shield mastery. Oh, it is perfect shield mastery. Yep, it is perfect shield mastery. Yeah, if you just reincarnated with it, it is probably a bug. Like if you just equipped it and you didn't put it on ever and you've never worn it, then yeah. I don't have a new one to compare. But it's not supposed to have those stats. So this is not a case of like it has additional stats or something. How would that even be possible? How would you get an item out of a chest that already has 2 epic level abilities on it? Part of my brain is like, go, farm out the best defense. Now I need to figure it out. I gotta know, how does that happen? But yeah, that's not supposed to be physically possible in the game. Well, there you go. You got cool weapons. I would say, if you feel like it, bug report it. I'll probably do the same, because I have your screenshot. Yeah. If someone's lost TR cache? Yeah, they lost it. Their TR cache. That'd be an amazing idea. Oh! We got Mirage! Let's go! Maybe I'll play a Scimitar build later. Or I'll bank it for when I play the Dark Hunter in the future.
The bottom of this immense cavern is home
Mirage,
to the
Mirage.
Vulkoorim.
Okay, I do have to ask the question, what character class did you play in your last life? And did you use Divine Crusader in your last life? I am just curious to see the parameters of possibly it's applying something from your last character past life. I don't know. Did not pull it. Yeah, I actually didn't want it, and I pulled it. So get wrecked, I think.
The walls and the air is filled with the incessant chipper of scorpion larvae.
Kidding. I farmed the sands for hours for other items, and I could not pull anything, so. Just months ago? Yeah, I just want to know if it's like maybe it was something applying on your character. Oh, definitely shield guy, a paladin. Okay, you just looted it today, so obviously that wouldn't apply.
This aged Scorro is a Vulkoorim.
Yeah, I'm stumped. I have no idea why that would do that.
Blessing the newly
Really weird.
hatched spawn.
Used before the legendary upgraded ones and the raid ones. You want to get? Oh, did you get a Morning Lord one? The free one from Ravenloft in legendary? The Morning Lord's scimitar is very good. Another good scimitar that's really easy to get. Thinking. Other good scimitars. This is harder than you think, because a lot of the good scimitars are raid scimitars. There is the Age of Rage scimitar that is not... I'm trying to think of like things that are like really, really easy to farm. That quest isn't hard, per se, but it's more so you still have to deal with the RNG of finding the item.
Surrounded by dozens of its brood.
It's just level 29. Night Mothers? Get 2 Morning Lords. The Night Mothers weapons are not good. Fire and good damage apply very regularly to monsters. There's lots of undead, so undead Bane applies all the time. Whereas like the animal Bane and stuff that you get is not as good. And the Vampirism effect also loses a lot of value. Is the Bow of Silver Flame decent enough? The Bow of Silver Flame is a reasonable weapon if you're talking about for leveling. There are better alternatives though. And for endgame, there are way better alternatives. The Chaos Bow is the best bow at endgame. After that, I believe it is Ariana the Bolt Bow. After that, I believe it is... probably Void? And after that, I don't know. It's, I'm not much of a bow player, which sounds counterintuitive because I am the guy that wrote the Strimtom's Acid Arrow build. But yeah, it's just weird. Pinion is cool. It's a great leveling weapon. You do have to run the raid Caught in the Web, which is a raid that is no longer run. So it is difficult to come by. So I'm not super recommending Pinion, not because it isn't good. It's a great bow. It's fantastic. It's just like the process of getting a Pinion is not simple. Also, all of my buffs are gone. That's fun. Thanks, Dispel Magic. I really want them to change Dispel Magic so it is a spell suppression effect. So instead of removing all your buffs, when monsters cast it, it just takes your buffs away for a certain few seconds. So you have to deal with not having your buffs, and then they come back afterwards. I hate having to rebuff, especially with temporary buffs and clickies. Kronzek's Cruelty is a very good scimitar. I would argue against easy to farm, just because it took me a long time to get one. But yes, Kronzek's Cruelty is also an option from Under the Big Top. So if you get lucky with farming it, Joel's not used our beams, so I did the anti-magic cone. That is how it works in 3.5, isn't it? Where if you're in the anti-magic cone, the beholders can't hit you with magic because the anti-magic cone. Sounds right. Are there any other 11s that I really want to do?
The bottom of this immense
I can do some of the trap filled 11s, I guess. I'm going to avoid the one with the Lich. And I'm going to avoid the one with the 3 beholders, the 5 beholders, the 6 beholders. I'm going to avoid the one with the 6 beholders. Especially because I do a lot of lightning damage that I can't control. And there are monsters that heal when you deal lightning damage to them. 60 totems for the weapon in Barovia? Yeah, it does. It's easy if you're with a group because people can just pass you totems, but if you're solo, it will take you, excuse me, a little bit longer. Any more than the spawn rate? Yeah, Kronzek's Cruelty is a rare. And he is very rare. I have not seen Kronzek that many times. I'll put it to you like this. I have never ransacked the chest because the spawn rate is too low. Oh. Which is a fun problem in and of itself. Alright, I'm gonna grab this, and we're gonna go run some House J quests. Dreamerlock? No, I meant I haven't ransacked it because I would try to ransack it, do like 30 or 40 runs of the quest, and then give up and go do something else. Not a streamer RNG situation. Yeah, important note, there are, like, just a lot of randomly, like, you can randomly find a scimitar. You can also craft a dino, if you own Isle of Dread, you could craft a dinosaur bone blank pretty inexpensively by just farming out the rares in Isle of Dread. Plus, you get a bunch of items at the same time as well, which could be an option for you. This quest is full of traps! Also, the monsters in here cast tons of crowd control that can be very dangerous. So you want to make sure you have the right protections to keep yourself safe and alive in the enemy within. Loads of traps, loads of things you got to be careful of. I will do my best to explain how to get through all of those as we go through here today. But anyway, as I said, it's a complicated thing trying to find the weapons and progress. The easiest thing you can do as well is if you get to level 32, you just get so much character power from having more points to spend in your epic destinies and more health and other stuff that just makes it easier. Part on dino stuff. I made a YouTube video about dinosaur bone crafting and how it works if you want to give that a once over. It's not that long of a video, But I basically go over and explain how dinosaur crafting works and what you can get with it. And then I also explain in detail that dinosaur bone crafting is how players are doing thousands upon thousands of damage, and it gives you special raid effects that can increase your damage beyond the likes of what you've ever imagined. Beyond the likes of any mere mortal. Breathlies are cold immune. They're cold. I gotta avoid my cold spells. Long quest can split up. True. Yes. If I had more people, I could split up and clear this quest faster. That is accurate. So there's a spike trap here. What you do is you pull the trap and then get off, so you don't get killed by that. Don't know where to start to get the crafting going. Oh, you have to go get the materials by just looting chests randomly in Isle of Dread. Every chest in Isle of Dread gives you the crafting material. That's it. And you need 25 of each crafting material. And there's no, it's not like a specific chest gives you a specific material. Each chest gives you a different material at random. So you just have to keep playing around and killing monsters. There could be a trap here, so as a case of precaution, I'm going to put my shield on before I run through this. There was a trap. I have shield mastery, so it actually does give me some physical resistance rating when I have to run through the physical traps, which is kind of nice. Get out of here. Awesome memory evoker. You jerks! Also, I really should use Chain Lightning right now, but I don't have the spell components. So I can't use Chain Lightning. It's a little silly, but it is what it is. Alright, there could be a trap here, so in case I'm going to use Feather Falling. Like so I don't fall in the pit. So use Feather Falling to get across the gap. This is probably where I should have the Feather Fall spell, but whatever. I went and ran Oath once to get best defense and rerolled and got no loot, and I don't care enough to try again. Oh, trying to like pull the item? Yeah. Notoriously very good at games. I wouldn't go that far, but I've played Dungeons & Dragons Online before. This game, I've played it before. This is not my first time playing this game. By the way, after I'm done streaming today, I will be taking the time to put a video together that goes over what's in the producer's letter and what was in the broadcast that we just watched together. So if you missed it, don't worry, I'll have that there for you. This is a cold trap chant that randomly spawns. Put the shield on, tumble out of the way. I didn't die. Hit this guy, same thing. Featherfall, jump. And again, the floor broke. As I said, this is exactly why I made sure to put on Feather Falling. So we get across this gap in case something bad happens, because you never know, sometimes something bad happens. It's 20 physical resistance rating for putting on the shield. Man, I wish I had a Arcane Spell Failure Augment. You remember your first life on your first character? So the game is turning 20, so maybe. The first character I can recall making was way before the reincarnation system. It was in the beta, and it was a 2 fighter, 2 wizard, because I was playing Morrowind, and I thought the fact that in that game, when you wore a robe, it would go over top of your armor. So if you put on like a robe, it would go directly over top of the armor. And so even though my character was wearing bone mold and I had like a sword and shield, I'd have like a sword and shield and a robe and bone mold armor. And I was like, man, this is so cool, dude. So when I started playing DDO, I was like, I want to play a fighter wizard, because that's what I was playing in Elder Scrolls, was a spell sword. So I was like, I want to do that. So I did. And I wore my, heavy armor with my sword and my shield. Or it's not, I want to wear heavy armor with sword and shield, but then I realized you can't wear robes over top of armor. So I was like, oh, I'll just wear a robe and a sword and shield and be half fighter, half wizard. Damn it. It was not a good build. It was very bad. I did not take my shield off to cast my buff spells, so I just fail at mage armor like 3 or 4 times in a row. Good times. And jumped across with Featherfall. And we're good. The spellcasters in here are way more dangerous than anything else. So, all these other monsters are pushovers. Like these undead. Don't matter. Okay, so question, do I just go farm dino bone weapon stuff and just use those the whole time? Or do I get the Barovia one? Sorry for all the questions, just want to go in the right direction. The dinosaur bone weapon is the best weapon you're gonna get. So if you start by farming it out, then you skip the other process of, like, if the option is, do you try to get 80 totems or make a dinosaur bone weapon, you will make a fully crafted dinosaur bone weapon before you get 80 totems. Easily. You get, on average, 1 totem per quest. You'd have to run 80 quests. Now, without the saga, I think 80 quests is a little comparable, but Isle of Dread has 12 quests in it, and every 12 quests you can get an extra 25 of whatever ingredient you want. So it's not too tough to get. Alright, now there could be traps in these hallways, so I'm going to run through with my shield on. Caution. Also, these squares always break. Never stand on these squares, you're gonna die. This. I don't always know what my hireling is doing, but I assume she's doing important stuff. You know, killing people. Oh, the best part about DDO is it doesn't matter what order you do it in, as long as you're having fun. As long as you're enjoying yourself, it doesn't matter what the order is. Do you go for the gear? Do you go for the weapons? Do you go for whatever it is? Have some fun. Whatever you feel like doing is what matters. I know efficiency is obviously something that goes on the table, but efficiency is something that you get when you have experience. So the more experience you get, the efficiency will come later. Right now, you're still at that point where you can just literally enjoy the ride the entire time. Alright, there could be more traps here. I'm glad I had my shield on. They just took 160 from that. That was awesome. Oh, I reduced that damage by 27%. Thank you, shield. That was 2 failures, so we're good. I also do weapons first. More damage equals big numbers is so more fun. Also true. Big fact. Having your weapons mind blast me. Having that done is better if you can get that done ahead of time. Hello, Blue Phoenix. How are you doing? I hope you are well. What's happening? You missed some news today. There is the producer's letter was put out, also with some new information about the about what's coming up in DDO. There's a Q&A, so I posted some of that in the Discord if you didn't see it. I'm excited. 2023, looking good for DDO. Apparently, graphics are just like the DirectX 9. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, Neverwinter Nights 2, the game that you've mentioned before that most people have a very, like, most people don't regard it very highly, but you like Neverwinter Nights 2 a lot. See? I remember things. Witchcraft 2 Dinosaur Bone Scimitars. No problem, dude. Also, enjoy the quests. Go run around, do the explorers, fight the rares, do the quests. What if Reaper progression gave more abilities or characteristics of Reapers? I think they don't want that design. But, that being said, I do think that, like, Sandstone Games definitely does not want that as part of their design idea of, like, having Reaper trees and Reaper mode, adding a lot to the game in terms of complexity. They want it as more of a simplistic thing. You can tell based on the fact that Reaper points give you all passive stats, and except for like a couple active components. So from where I stand, I kind of don't mind it in terms of the like not getting a lot of characteristics of Reapers or stuff like that. Some people have wanted, like, what if you get a Reaper form? What if you could become a Reaper? What if you got some other stuff? It would be cool, but I also don't really care. I don't like Reaper progression as a concept, just for the record, so I'm already biased. It would be cool, though. Like, I'm not against the idea in principle. I don't really care. I already have so much complexity and everywhere else. Do I really need another menu that's actually hard to use? Like, just for real right now, right? Do I really need another menu that I have to fully customize and fully figure out and try to now figure it out into my build? Not saying that having more options is bad, but like, bro, I got so many options in DDO, dude. Oh, it was irresistible. Blindness? Dude, these guys don't mess around. And they're also blind. Emergentites too, like DDO, yeah. Stonejaw will peel you. Oh yeah, also don't fight Stonejaw, you're gonna lose. If you see a dinosaur named Stonejaw, you're gonna lose. Is the news posted somewhere? Yes. So the producer's letter is there, you can read it, and then there was also a Q&A that was done with Severlin, executive producer, and it is in my Discord, and you can see under the announcements. I also posted it on the subreddit, and I'll probably go through that later and respond to people and stuff. There are comments. Can you give more details on what this means for VIP? Yeah, I probably could. Yeah. Alright, it's time to take level 14. I don't really want to do any of the quests, so it's time to go. Yeah, when it released, Stonejaw used to be very easy to fight and a total joke. Now Stonejaw is not a total joke. Can I get a cookie that you made? Sure. Just fight him and win. I would love to see you do that. Please do that. Yeah, the producer's letter is sparse. The stuff outside the producer's letter is not. How do I level up as a bard? Who's the bard trainer? I have 6 points to spend. Damn, it's a lot of DDO or action points. Okay, so I want enhanced bolt. Seems good. So now I can just leave maximize on all the time, basically. Seems right. It looks a little lacking. Why do they even have the yearly events on the roadmap? They have the yearly events on the roadmap, so it doesn't look as bad. Also, I don't actually have an issue with the yearly events being on the roadmap, because technically, not everybody knows that they are going to be happening. It is both, it serves a purpose, as in it, as Cruiser said, it fluffs up the map. It makes it look like there's more than there is. And also, it serves a purpose in that there are human beings that are not familiar with DDO and don't know about the event schedule in the game. So, again, you can't argue that it's a problem because it is on the schedule and it is an event. It is what it is. Need to buy level 5 bard spell components. I have 72,000 platinum. Oh my god. Also, Crystal Cove is not a yearly event. That's true. It happens every year, but it does not happen at the same time every year. Spell components. The bits and pieces. There's going to be a YouTube video tomorrow. I'll go over all of it. And yes, the weapons do look cool. Use the solo him on your free play Gnome Bear Druid. Yep, you can't do it anymore. I can solo him on my Warlock and on my Sorcerer. So Vecna is going into a mini expansion? Yes, with a raid. With a new raid. And like Saltmarsh, it'll be just like Saltmarsh. What should you get from the event? The snowman. If you don't have the snowman, you should go get it. Like, I have so many spells I don't even cast. I have Chain Lightning, I guess. 41 mana for Chain Lightning, 36 for Ball, Horn of Thunder, Shout, and then 20 for Lightning Bolt. The Vecna Mini expect as a lead up to actually getting rid of them for good. Yeah, I think they're closing the book on the story. That's what they said, is that it's going to be the conclusion of this, the culmination of the story. Any new archetypes and they're free, SSG could charge for them? They could, but they're not. They're giving away for free. Free. Which is good. I like getting free stuff. Free stuff is good for me. When a V8, then when they turned that V8 up, then that V8 became a V20. I don't know what a V8 is. Yeah. No more codex pages. I mean, to be fair, we haven't had anything talking about codex pages in almost 2 years now. Like, they stopped the codex page thing with Feywild, basically. Isle of Dread had, like, the one quest tie-in, but that was pretty much it. Soon, who's going to be the big bad 10 years from now at level 10, level 40? We'll just have to find out. Maybe it'll be like Ultra Vecna or Vecna 2. Double Vecna. Vecna wanted codex pages? Yeah, that's exactly. And that is 100% correct. Cruiser put it aptly. So in the quest, the Dread Sea Scrolls, there is a codex page that's missing, and you have to go get it. And so the implication is that Vecna wants the codex pages, but Vecna learns about the players and Eberron in Feywild. So in Feywild, when he is conversing with Hirsum, he ends up learning about the problems that Hirsum is having and what exactly is going on, and decides to use the codex page as bait. And so we, the players, do the quest, and then, oops, it was a trick all along. Vecna doesn't care about that. He was trying to get us for his collection, which is the plotline that is revealed through the books, that you read them. If you do them along the landscape in the Isle of Dread, there's all the story about Vecna and his collection and how he lured us, and also how the Ghost Flame is also working to lure us to there, and the Ghost Flame plans to use us to their own advantage to escape out from under the curse that was labeled on them, or put on them by Vecna. At which point, we, if you did the raid properly by doing it with the secrets, and if you want to learn more about the secrets, you can watch Arcana Versus stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 24 hours and 26 minutes from now, where we break the curse on the Ghost Flame, which in turn also breaks Vecna's hold on us, which means we're able to fully and freely leave as well. So, apologies for people that haven't played Isle of Dread yet, or that didn't read the story, but it's there. It's difficult, because a lot of the DDO story is done in little, like, audio, or little books and things that they have, when, ideally, they would be done, you know, indirectly in the quest, but even still, a lot of people don't read in the quest pretty much at all. But yeah, it's a good part of the raid, and it's pretty fun. I'm just looking at my tree for a sec. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to do Ravenloft and finish that off. Sounds good to me. But he came back. Wait, how do I get to Ravenloft? This way? Did I get House P buffs? 38 minutes is long enough. I agree. That's one of the reasons why I don't do it, and I don't collect them, and then I wait till they're on the DDO wiki, and then I read them in order. Yeah. It's so much easier, because then I don't have to go searching for it, and no, I didn't hand in Amber Temple. Dude, that's so cringe. I'm upset. Back to the Blue Water Inn. Because I forgot that I towned out of there. Yeah. I'll take the L for this one. I used my recall tool. There it is. Use the recall tool? Don't you mean you're the recall tool? Surprised you're doing it on mobile? I'm not. The next 10-year arc leads us to working the confrontation with Tiamat. I mean, it's also possible. Tiamat in Eberron? No, but we also don't have to be in Eberron either. We've been to Ravenloft, and we've been to the Forgotten Realms. There's no reason why we wouldn't be able to literally go to Greyhawk. That's the thing. Besides, there's also still other unexplored universes, like Dragonlance, or maybe because they got, like, the Spelljammer book that came out last year, maybe they'll do a Spelljammer, and we get to drive around in space. And then we get to fight space monsters. Dark Sun? I don't know what that is, but yeah, maybe it could be Dark Sun. Like it's like a regular sun, but it's so dark, dude. It's like Dark Strimtom from the Nether universe. Yeah, we could have an expansion that is guided by Fred, where Fred is the only person that knows how to use the Spelljammer, and then he becomes like the main guy. Sort of like how, you know, we've had other main characters help us be guided through stuff. Oh, Mad Max? I never watched that movie. Post-apocalyptic type setting in a desert world? Oh, yeah. Like Mad Max. Yeah, I didn't watch that movie. I want to go to another main region. I also want to go to another major region. I also think that a cool thing they can hold in the back pocket for whenever they need it, like break glass in case of no ideas, they could add in Sarlona as an expansion, because Sarlona is an island, those that don't know, in Eberron, where the Inspired come from, and the Inspired are touched by the Kourush, and we defeated the Kourush and prevented their invasion in the quest The Dreaming Dark. But what if the Kourush came back? And we had to do it all over again. And became another... Because the Kourush didn't stop scheming. We just prevented one plan. They're still out there. Also, Chain Lightning is really good. Even though Chain Lightning doesn't have the Lightning Strike chance, Chain Lightning is very good. And Ball Lightning. Go to Sarlona, you can meet Voodoo. If you go to Sarlona, you can meet Voodoo. There's no more charisma damaging enemies? Oh yeah, there's gonna be more charisma damaging enemies. In fact, they should probably do a patch note where every monster damages your charisma, because honestly, if I got into as many fights as you do in DDO, yeah, my personality would also suffer. Just how much stress you get every time you talk to people, there's always like a fight or some type of confrontation. Yeah, the stress levels would also lower my charisma. Probably pick up smoking too.
Down into the dark and the damp.
If I should do something like acquisitions, did they teleport the actual PAX Studios people in game and fought someone in the real world? I mean, maybe. They are doing the whole PAX Studios thing. They have basically no information or details about that. So myself and many others are like, and what? Reduced by percentage of missing HP? Exactly. Yeah, you're just stressed. It's really hard to hold your composure when you're just getting like shot with arrows, you know? You can use Dimension Door to skip a huge chunk of this quest. So, do this, and then boom, back to the start. I feel like because the Bard is a lot easier, I'm definitely giving fewer tips than I otherwise would in the, in like this solo leveling guide. Because I am very simply just going through the motions and ripping through this thing. No items, rats. Got him. Deadpool-esque breaking the fourth wall type thing? I gotcha. How to level a caster? Lamau already level 32. I mean, basically, dude, it's so much faster. It's so much faster. It's kind of, I'm not going to say astonishing because I knew this was going to happen, but like I thought I would have more of a fight, an uphill battle on Hardcore League, and like not really. Oh well. What it means is that if you don't know how to play this character and you want to try something, if you're watching at home and you've gotten to this point, it's not getting harder. The higher level you get, the easier it gets. Like I'm only going to be picking up more crit and more damage and a freeze and a vulnerability stacking and more damage and more crit and more charisma and more damage and crit. Last step so much easier? Oh yeah. Yo, what's up? Grillsha? What a name. Yeah, they didn't talk about the PAX thing, and they didn't have any details about the PAX thing, but they said there's going to be some, like, in-person interaction or whatever. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I can confirm I'm not going to PAX, because international travel is expensive. And I probably would have budgeted for it if I'd known that there was going to be, like, an in-person DDO event. But what are you going to do? Yeah, sorry. International travel expensive. That being said, in the future, Ipsum was telling me that there is definitely 100% going to be a train that is being built between Boston and Montreal, 100% happening for sure. And so as a result, that means I will be able to go to Montreal and then hop on a train and then just take a train down to Boston, which is really easy. 100%, no cap, for real, 100%, yeah. This is something I absolutely know for sure. That's what he said. Or he said there are plans that might fall through. I can't remember all the details. Something like that. Do they run a PAX event every year? They used to go to PAX all the time, but then when they stopped making as much money, and by stop making as much money, I mean stop being funded by Warner Brothers, they stopped going. Boom! Got him. Let's go. The pen and paper caster is just getting more and more absurdly broken. Yep. My most limited casters in their ability to continually cast spells. Yeah, because casting spells is fucking cool. Here's the thing. You're right. Video games don't limit spellcasters that much. You know why? Because, of course, if you have the ability to cast spells and use magic, it's going to be better than swinging a sword. Of course it's going to be better than swinging a sword. Why would it not be better than swinging a sword? Like, I can shoot lightning out of my hands. Yeah, swing your sword as much as you want. It's not shooting lightning. Right? So I'm not saying that these video games shouldn't balance it and make it more interesting, but like, bro, come on. This guy can cast Earthquake. What do you do with your sword? Swing it really fast and the earth starts shaking? Not even heavy enough to stomp around and make an earthquake. Yo, this guy is a god. How does he live through all my attacks? Wow. I like kept casting spells and he just kept living. It was a big shocker. How's the Bard playthrough going? It gets faster and easier the more I play. I could get the Thrumming Spark cord here, which would be very cool. I can't believe both of you guys came up with helicopter swing at the same time. Rats, I got nothing. Limiting factor originally, which was spells per day. Yeah, but even when compared to spells per day, by the time you're like a level 9 wizard, you have 2 5th level spells, 3 4th level spells, and then 4 of all the spells below that. And then you also had bonus spells on top of that. So if your wizard had like an 18 intelligence, then you've got an extra first level and an extra second level. If you have a, heaven forbid, you have a 22 intelligence, how much extra do you have? And it just goes up and up and up. Yep. Train service, that would be cool getting there by bus sucks. Yeah, well, the reason why I'm excited about that is not because it would be faster. It's not going to be faster than taking an airplane. But it is more calming. Airplanes suck, and trains suck less. Brought to you by I'm a tall person. And when you get on a train, on an airplane, they don't give you any seats whatsoever or any space, so your legs have to just shove in. It sucks. But on a train, you have more space for your legs. And I need space for my legs. I got legs. As some might say, my legs go all the way up to Canada. Because they're long. A grown-ass, 6 foot tall adult. Yeah, and also you can sleep on trains. Like, the cool thing about this is this would be like straight up an overnight train. You get on the train in Montreal, and then like 6 or 7 hours later, boom, you're in Boston. And you didn't have to do anything.
Faint calling can a piece of parchment catches your eye in the ruins.
Oh, also important note about Svalich Howlers is they're actually coded as Hellhounds for whatever reason, because they're basically, the Howlers are like the Hellhounds of Barovia, and so because they're Hellhounds, they actually take extra damage from gold and are immune to fire when they're not supposed to be. Also, I'm just going to be chain casting Chain Lightning, and you might think my spell point costs are going to be dramatic, but don't worry about that, because I'm just going to use the Shrine. The Mythalar? Was that what you're asking about? More likely to one-shot than melee? Yes. Spellcasters actually have a lot less health than melees in pen and paper, because spellcasters have a D4, whereas melees have a D, 10 to 12. So like rangers are D8 or D8s, paladins and fighters are D10s, and barbarians are D12s. But also bear in mind that even though they actually have a lot of hit points, that is where it was for a long time the same in DDO. The problem with DDO is there's itemization. In pen and paper, you probably do not have a constitution item and a hit point item and all these other things that even it out. Whereas in the video game, I mean, it's a video game. You have video game stats. Yeah, there's a health item. And yeah, there's a constitution item. And yeah, there's this. And yeah, there's that. And they can't really take these things out because they affect everybody, but they disproportionately give more health to people that have less. Because as a percentage of their increased health, barbarians get more health from their base class, but spellcasters get more health from their items. And so it means that as level goes up, the stats, or the amount of health that, or the gap, is always going to shrink over time because items will still shrink up the gap. Well, the other problem too with friendly fire is that who gets hurt in the friendly fire? You're afraid someone will steal something from you? Oh, the trick to that, Gordo, is take all your objects and cover them with glue, and then when you have to travel, stick the object to your torso. So like when you have it like a thing, just like glue it and then stick it. So then when you go to sleep, when you wake up, if somebody tried to steal it, they're now stuck to you. So you can like report them to the police when you wake up. Another option, if you want to make sure your stuff doesn't get stolen, is before you go to sleep, grab your possessions and pee all over them, and then pee all over yourself. That way no one will want to go near you or touch you, so nobody will take your objects. Then you can sleep on the train all you want.
A raven calls loudly, as if it's trying to get your attention.
I'm just full of ideas over here. Yeah, it's exactly like in the Elder Scrolls, right? In the Elder Scrolls, they want to stop the vampires from eating people. How do they stop the vampires from eating the vampire hunters? They threw cat piss on the vampire hunters, and then the vampires like, oh, these hunters smell like cat piss. So they didn't go eat them.
You found what must
Just imagine a pen and paper character having 13 or 14 magical items on them like you do in DDO. Yeah, in pen and paper, you get like a couple of magical items. You usually, at some point, get a magical weapon that's kind of cool. That's where the weapon focus feats are really dumb in pen and paper, because you get weapon focus slashing, but like, or like weapon focus longsword. But then the dungeon master can choose just to not give you a longsword, and you just deal.
A metallic click.
You just don't have one, and instead you're like, well, I guess I have this club. I got a +1 club. Pretty sick.
The raven you freed flaps its wings and flies off.
Right, trains get a room in the door. Yeah, so you can pee on the door as well.
All been removed. The
Yeah.
ensorcelled mists lift, allowing you to enter the area.
Well, it's not a stingy campaign. It's just like the facts of the matter of there's multiple players, and you're not just dropping like magic upon magic upon magic on people. You might give them some items. You're not dropping magic upon magic upon magic, and so
A rank
you know,
smell fills your
there might be a
nostrils
longsword,
as surprisingly
but what if there's
spacious
a
hut.
rogue who also wants the longsword,
Caged
or a
raven
bard
makes
who thinks they need the
commotion in
longsword?
northeast corner. As the raven flies toward the exit, it says,
That's why I much prefer DDO's approach of the type, so slashing, so it's weapon focus slashing, as opposed to like weapon focus the weapon. It's, in my opinion, a much better way to do things. Because then, if you find a longsword or a scimitar or a whatever, like, you as a dungeon master might not want to give, you know, the ogres a scimitar, but maybe you want to give them an ogre longsword, which is a great sword, and now the person can go, oh, and they can put on the great sword because they have slashing. I think that's better. Charisma 7. You just give your pen and play papers, dynamo weapons, nothing can go wrong. Yeah. Items, radioactives, there's a certain amount of background damage that is not noticeable individually. Oh, just do it literally like in Fallout, where by wearing items that are magical, your characters are slowly eroding on the inside.
Isn't that kinda what goes into building a character? A conversation between the DM and yourself, to know whether or not you are in a high magic world or a low magic world. For example, magic weapon would be useful in a low magic world, but in a high magic world not so much.
On a snowy hillside. At long
I mean,
last,
yeah.
your journey has brought
But if your expectation is that human beings are going to talk to each other, oh man.
A place of sun and shadow. Seek the
Also, I will say a lot of people have different ideas as to how they actually want to run their campaigns and or how they want to participate in campaigns. Some people are like relatively wishy-washy when it comes to ideas, so they will kind of flip-flop from idea A to idea B, which will happen. Some people learn more about their characters as adventures go on, where you might one day tell yourself, or tell the DM, you know what, this is what I want to do, my character's going to do this, it's going to be amazing, and then after like 6 months of campaign, you realize you want to change something with the character, and you want to change it, and now you're at an
I
impasse with
see
the
a
DM.
wizard who has slept through the ages. His bed is cold, and his blanket is made of marble.
What did she say? I see a wizard that has slept through the ages. Yeah, it's upstairs here.
two strange creatures guard the entrance.
I'm not
to
doing the
main
lich, I
hall
can't
of the
damage it.
abbey. They watch you curiously
Yeah.
as you approach. Otto unlocks the door with the key.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, the magic weapon
See
spell.
Abbot
Yep.
you are greeted by a handsome
Magic thing.
figure
I know people
who
that thought
moves
Game of
with the
Thrones was
grace of
high
a
magic.
saint.
Yeah, and that also opinion matters about that a lot as well. Like,
what
what a high magic campaign is differs to other people.
Says the
Like,
abbot.
I consider the Forgotten Realms low magic. Because when I hear about and see of the Forgotten Realms, and when I've read books about the Forgotten Realms, it's like 99.9% of people literally have no use of magic,
The legends
But then people go,
say
no,
this
it's
is
really
the
high
binding
magic because these
light.
ancient people that are dead, that don't exist anymore, that don't cast spells, and they're all dead and their magic is gone, they had really high magic. It was really a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, but the regular people don't have access to any magic. Nobody has any
Lots
magic.
of people
You
get to
millions
have a
people
piece
all
of
over
my
that no magic
prize.
whatsoever.
But there is only one person that gets my tier 1. Less than 3.
Oh, Zeos, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome back for 20 months. That's crazy. I can't wait to see what happens when you hit 24. Whereas, as a contrast, Eberron is 100% a high magic campaign, because in Eberron, there is so much magic literally everywhere. This is going to be a hard sell, because I have to kill these without having them get hit by too many lightning strikes, because they heal from the lightning strikes. Like, everyone's lives are constantly impacted by magic in Eberron. The transportation is magic because there's friggin' magic trains. You know, there are magic robots and all sorts of things all over the place.
Strange creatures burst.
It went very high into the magic. There's magic everywhere. Like, it would be very uncommon, unless you, like, literally live in the woods, to avoid magic of any kind. Hold. Kind of worked. I think I need that quicken if I want to get that to work better. Evan can be a spellcaster? Yeah.
A hatch in one corner
Yo, later,
of the room
Drakengard.
leads
I will
down
try not to
into the
die.
cellar.
But I might. Can't stop me. It's Crystal Punk? It is like Crystal Punk, exactly. There's not a lot of mechanics in Eberron. It's things that run off of magic, but it's like they enchant the machines. So, less gears, more making wood move with magic. Like how, like, the Warforged Titans and stuff function. Important note, the acquisition of equipment in DDO is not representative of Eberron. I shouldn't have to explain that the video game doesn't track with the real world, but might have to do that. Big. Oh. Ludonarrative dissonance. Yeah. Like how in Final Fantasy you can cast Raise Dead and Phoenix Downs are an in-game item, but people still die somehow. It's just like, yeah, it's the video game mechanic. It is what it is.
Shrine overlooks a small,
Like, video games need to have resurrection mechanics, because if they don't, a lot of people don't play them. That's why a lot of people don't play roguelikes and other things, and why a lot of people don't play hardcore, because resurrection mechanics are very important to the video game, but they really fuck up your story.
I feel that it somehow holds the key.
So, go. That's why I like Destiny's story, because in Destiny they build in the resurrection as part of the game mechanic, and whenever a character actually dies, they just make it so your character is immortal, so whenever somebody actually dies, it's a really big deal.
This is where we would meet.
Check out the game Arcanum. It knows the conversation incredible even if you don't play the game, just read up on the story. Is it like a video game, or is it like a tabletop game, or what is it? Those magic missile ones that trigger to shoot? They're not endless. You do have to charge them. It's actually a huge chunk of one of the Eberron novels.
The sadness in his eyes turns to sudden joy. Tatiana, it has been so long. Come, my love. Let us be together at last. Irina gasps. Sergei, my beloved. Oh,
I'm gonna try to find the book.
Married so long ago. Has this blessed pool called your spirit to me? As she reaches for Sergei, she is pulled down beneath the rippling water.
There is a book
and into her lover's embrace.
that is specifically about this,
You have never seen a
and I can't remember, but it basically follows the story of like an artificer in Eberron,
For a moment,
and how they're trying to like recover their family's legacy.
Then a peal of thunder shakes
And,
the land, and a deep, dark
it talks about
voice
how
from beyond the
artificers can
mountains
do all the
cries
magic and
out.
how they can use wands and things like that. I can't remember the name of the book though.
A dark figure appears near the shrine.
I don't think that's not in the Dreaming Dark. I'm pretty sure.
where I cannot follow.
Cries Strahd.
I swear that's a different book. Is that the same book?
Make you suffer for that.
Strahd winces as he enters the pool.
It's been a while since I've read those books, admittedly, so I might be misremembering.
The gleam in her eyes was like warm
Dark
sunlight
is
on a
about the
still
girl who escaped from
pond.
House Cannith? No, it's about this dude and his Warforged buddy going on an adventure. And they have to stop the city of Sharn from falling apart.
Those eyes, all I see
I can't remember the name of the book, though.
is a mad abyss.
For a moment, you despair at being left behind in this dreary, defeated land. Then, without warning, the sun sword blazes
Ugh.
forth with a warm,
Arcanum.
bright
There it
light.
is. There it is.
Pick up the sun
2001. Oh my god.
The instant you touch the hilt
Yeah,
of
male
the
artificer.
dazzling weapon, you realize that this is the weapon that could slay Strahd. That this is the key to ending his dominion.
Oh, I don't want to recall. I want to get the optional.
Something starts to grow within you. Something you had almost forgotten. Hope.
Fusion user marks? Yeah, but that's I'm thinking of a different one.
Please.
I'm
tell
trying
me
to
what
remember.
you
I'll
think.
find it. Give me a second here. Let me just do this quest thing.
My only desire is to improve the Abbey and this land.
I just gotta murder this guy real quick. Is he immune to lightning? Yeah, he is. But he's not immune to Sonic.
Do you have any idea?
Does she heal from lightning? Yes, she does. She's a flesh golem, of course.
I've tried to help. Do you have any idea who I am?
I always love how this guy goes all Karen on you. Do you have any idea who I am? I want to speak to your manager.
Mad? Was it mad to fight against the darkness? I was sent to redeem this
Thorn of
forsaken
Brelin, Legacy Dawn, Heirs of
My
Ash.
struggle has been longer and harder than you can imagine.
I believe this is the book. The Voyage of the Morning Dawn, The Heirs of Ash. Which is not, maybe not the main character. I'm pretty sure I've read these. And the idea is it's about a crew on an airship. So the whole point, the whole book takes place on the airship flying all over the place. And they go all over Eberron doing stuff. And so there's 3 books. And then I don't 100% know because there's no information about any of these books anywhere at all. But the final book, it takes place ends in Sharn, which is right here on the cover, and the characters are right. So I'm pretty sure it's this book series. Has a artificer in it who is managing the ship, who's basically like the guy who runs the whole thing. Well, not runs the whole thing. He's like an engineer that was hired, and he's like a Kenneth expat who was basically like kicked out. And it's very good. I enjoyed the story quite a bit. It took me some time to figure it out, but I'm pretty sure that this is the series. I'm not 100% sure. Also, I got the Disciple of the Dawn. So very cool. Sorry, I had to do that. I had to look that up. Did Crystal Punk? The term people use as Mage Punk? Whatever, it's all the same thing. It's all the same to me. But yeah, I just wanted to share that information with you. I'm pretty sure that is it. So it's The Voyage of the Morning Dawn and beyond. I have read these books. I just don't remember how long ago it was. Because I read them like in high school. So it was a long time. I'm 30, so it was a long time ago. So I'm pretty sure. There's no resource. There aren't a resource. They're a source of labor. I mean, they can be a resource if they channel magic. It's sort of like how in Avatar, Legend of Korra, they have cities that run on electricity, and they basically have a bunch of firebenders do lightning bending to work the power grid, or to like manage the power grid. So it's kind of similar. It's like a person is a resource at that point. It's a way to think, you could think about it. Is it like the second half of Final Fantasy IX? I've never played a Final Fantasy game other than... The only Final Fantasy games I played are Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2. Those are the only Final Fantasy games I have played. So I don't know any of them. I didn't play the Super Nintendo ones. I did not play Final Fantasy 7 or the remake, or 8, or 9, or 10, or 11, or 12, or 13, or this 15, and I'm probably not going to play Final Fantasy 16 because I just don't care. I'm sure the games are good. I'm sure they're very good. I'm just basically at the point where I don't really like turn-based combat a lot. I find turn-based, and especially games that grind. Like the last time I played a game that has turn-based combat with a sort of grind system, it was Undertale. But that game does not waste your time, and I would not describe that game as grindy. And it does a very good job of being still that turn-based combat simulator, but you fight almost every enemy one time, and no more than that. And I don't know, I just don't need to grind anymore. It's one of the things I struggle with Pokemon games, is that I'm like getting older, and I'm like, I don't really want to grind anything in Pokemon, and nowadays you don't. In fact, in the most recent Pokemon game, which I wish performed better, because it's a really fun game with a lot of good ideas, they have a system where instead of actually fighting Pokemon battles, you can just let your Pokemon out onto the landscape, and then they will fight wild Pokemon automatically, so you actually don't have to grind your Pokemon anymore to get them up in levels, which is great. It's a way better system, because grinding sucks. Haven't had turn-based combat in some time. But yeah, but even still, like there's like these very long games. I struggle with long RPGs because they just don't really respect your time in terms of giving you the story that you want to have. It's one of the reasons why I actually don't mind Final Fantasy 14, because it does respect your time, because the game is like, go do a quest, which is like literally talk to one guy, and then it has like 8 minutes of cutscenes. It's like, go kill 2 monsters, and then it's like 15 minutes of cutscenes. So at the very least, it's like a lot of story. In fact, there's more story than gameplay. The leveling experience, which I don't mind because I'm getting the game that I want.
A resonant hum fills the ruins as the first rune activates.
But everyone says magic is everywhere and is also not very strong. I mean, magic is like pretty strong. But yeah, there's no gods in Eberron, so yeah.
Smoke and ash fill the air as an efreet manifests.
Get out of here, Darnok the Ever-Burning. More like Darnok the Ever-Dead. What? What?
The Efreeti gives a final roar of rage.
Hey, blood magic? I think Dragon Age? Yeah, blood magic.
The second rune
That's what I did in Dragon Age.
There's a
I made
massive
I played
rush
blood
of
mage.
air through the shrine.
I didn't like really want to play a blood mage
Sudden
because,
silence.
you know, like there's something that's felt evil about that. But then I was also like, then I can use my health as a resource. Very cool. So I absolutely did that shit. Like, the game wants you to not do it because it's like the wrong thing to do, but then they make it so cool that I had to do it because it was the coolest thing to do. I had no other options. Oh, you can get dinosaur weapons without capturing by killing the overland raid bosses? Yes, you can. It's just very rare to get the one that you actually want. So to get a scimitar, you're going to have to kill that boss like 30 times and then hope that you get it one of the times that you kill it. Okay, so in this quest, don't touch the water, because if you touch the water, you're going to die. So please be very careful when you do this quest. Water does absolutely kill you. You do not wish to die. Some of you may wish to die. Try not to. Also, I really should have displacement, and I really should have Stormsinger.
As you travel
And shield.
deeper into the cavern, you can feel everything slowly shift around you.
I am not joking when I say touch the water and you die. That is a very real thing. I'm also avoiding all of these monsters and running straight through, because because I want to just get to somewhere safe and bring my hireling to me. The other monsters can't get to me now, and when they can, they'll be at the gate, which means my hireling will help me with it.
The voice croaks.
Did you think so great a prize would be easily
Reading
won?
crossbow to 10 minutes to kill it? Yeah, exactly. How many pearls do you need? 50? I think. You don't need black pearls to craft a weapon, by the way. The black pearls are for the big super upgrade. Crafting the weapon requires the other materials that are much more common. Oh, yeah. Solo follow troop. Good luck. You can do it, Chris.
You can feel
Are you going solo? It's a solo bard guide playthrough.
As you put it into your pack.
That's fine.
Better get the unstable artifact
Planning on
into
doing
the
the
hands
Viper
of
upgrade? Yeah.
Wargrave University
I did solo
researchers.
fighter, and then people were like, yo, can you do a spellcaster? And I was like, yep. They also come from the raid and the other bosses. Yeah, but I also changed up... You've been away for a little while. I changed up my streaming program, so I'm currently not using... I was using Streamlabs OBS before, but that program is garbage and was actually crashing my whole computer. So now I'm just using regular OBS, but I'm still learning the kinks and some of the different systems that are available and in play on the thing. So I don't have the overlay up because I have to actually redo all the art for that. And then I also don't have like the other stuff because currently I don't have a way to make stuff only visible on the screen. I'll have to download some plugins to change that, so I can have stuff that is visible on stream but not visible. Okay. Which I can do. I just have to get some plugins and I haven't done that yet. Hey, you know what server I'm on? There's actually no way to know. Yeah, it just sucks.
According to Caleb, Clarissa Boromar made her fortune as a burglar and an antiques collector.
Alright, bye-bye, Zizel. Have fun. Good luck on your raid. Get lots of loot. Kill them dead. And if you get hit by a mechanic, that's a 50 DKP minus! Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Where's the rogue energy at? It's there. I just don't have it on screen all the time. I have it like fade in and out. Do you mind if I ask what game with no death speedrun hard mode? That sounds like it's either The Elder Scrolls Online or Destiny. Because, yeah, there we go. Because ESO has all of the achievements for doing the hard mode and everything else. But you gotta do hard mode, but then there's the hard mode with the time, or there's different challenges. Hard mode with a certain time, hard mode with the certain like without anybody dying, other stuff. Firing after you get it done. There you go. I never really got into a serious raiding guild. I joined a couple guilds and did some trials, but I never did like the serious stuff. I didn't have any friends that played it. Toxic community, is it? I will say, I don't know it that well, but the subreddit, man, they are aggressive when it comes to talking about the game balance.
Or is Clarissa being framed? According to a loud kobold, these creatures are not supposed to talk to strangers.
They are aggressive.
What else has Aether been telling his research subjects?
All egos, terrible. Yeah, I can see that.
All over this place. They're up to something.
There's a lot of like.
And that suggests Aether Finkelberry is
when it comes to
testimony reveals that only
egos and that sort of thing. I think that it makes sense that when people get to a certain state that we can become good enough at something, they can have like a strong opinion or think that they know better than pretty much anybody else. I understand where that comes from. I've been there, not surprisingly. I don't think I know better than everybody else, but I do have my own opinions. Sometimes I will very strongly tell people. I also have my own platform, so if you don't want to hear my opinion, you can just go fuck off. So that's also an option. But when it comes to online sources, it can always be very polarizing because you can have only certain subsections of the community talking about stuff. And as a gamer, you can like get mystified by so many things when you see people discuss the game. For me, it was like going on the subreddit and people are talking about how like, they're kicking people out of groups because they're not pulling their weight because they're not doing like 90,000 damage per second. And I'm like, bro, I can barely do 25 and I don't know what I'm missing and what to get because I'm like, well, all my gear is gold and all my other stuff. Like at the time, I know how to do that now, but and like the resources are there, but they're not always the greatest. And then people, instead of being friendly and being like, oh, this is what you can do and this is how you can improve, it's just straight up like, you're wasting my time, you're useless. Be gone with thee. And you're like, oh god. Yeah, they just straight up kick you without any words. And you're like, well, alright. I guess this is where I'm at then. Oh, but it's complicated. It's hard to, you know. Video games are hard. Communication with human beings is hard. Communication with human beings in video games in a short period of time is hard.
Just use it on the dragon.
And yeah, that's it. Like, nobody wants to help anyone. That's why, not to toot my own horn or nothing, but I like making videos to help people who are getting started with the game, because everybody has to start somewhere. And it's really hard when you, not only do you not know things, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know where to start. Like where you're like, I want to do better, but I don't know what I'm missing.
Arms and armor for his crew.
That's the hard part.
Why does he need an
Got
armor?
it.
All this evidence suggests.
If they didn't have a mythic mode back then, you unlock mythic mode by beating
Clarissa
mechanics in a
Boromar
certain way.
in
I
person.
actually think that that is a cool mechanic, unlocking your hard modes, where you choose to do it in the fight.
A portal blasts open to a painfully bright place.
Yes, already makes the DDO Reddit seem reasonable. DDO Reddit's actually not that bad. They just complain a lot, that's all. That downverse saying like the story of Blackwood or Deadlands. Yeah. Well, it was like the whole thing where they were adjusting how the combat mechanics were working a little while ago. So those that don't know about Elder Scrolls, they basically made it so they wanted to de-emphasize light attacks, or like one of the attack chains, because basically there's a combat style called weaving where you attack, cast a spell, attack, cast a spell, attack, cast a spell, and by that I just mean use an ability. And by doing that, it actually makes the game look really disgustingly ugly, because your attack animation cancels the end of your spell cast, and then your next spell cast animation cancels the attack. So you basically lift up your arm to attack, and then you start to cast a spell, and then you attack again, and then you do this, and your character's like glitching around, and it looks horrific. It's awful. If I was the devs, I would fix that sooner rather than later. That's also how you do maximum damage, and the devs wanted to de-emphasize that by making it so that the light attacks are a smaller percentage of your damage, and they also wanted to make the damage over times like less punishing in the game by making it so that they last longer but do less damage. So they do the same amount of damage, but it's just they do the same amount of damage over like 16 seconds as opposed to 8 seconds. So you can like cast your damage over time and then still do other stuff. So that way, it's just for people that aren't as good at swapping or aren't as good at getting like the hits out on different bosses, or like maintaining like 5 different damage over time effects. It's easier for them. So those are noble goals. Important note, I do not know how the endgame is balanced. I straight up don't know. But man, people be big mad. You're like, fuck new players. They should just learn how to do it and do all this other stuff. I'm like, man, what about existing players who like struggle with this? Also, one of the biggest complaints I hear from people is bar swapping is like not very fun. Because you have to just constantly swapping all your bars and constantly like min-maxing these rotations. But then I guess people just love it. I'm not saying it isn't a good or bad thing. I remember the opinion being very, very one-sided and from very specific crowds. I'm in DDO, I've joined a listed group and they accepted me, then immediately removed me and didn't tell you why. I mean, sometimes it happens. Black and white where you had to unlock easy mode. But I like Pokemon Black and White.
The surface of the underground pool begins to ripple as
I don't like this.
Then the pool turns.
Okay, I was really worried about this champ. It looks like I don't have to be worried about the champ. Nice. Was it easier or harder than you thought it was going to be to solo? The most likely to get you instant for joining is the amount of health you have. Yeah, health is one thing. If your health is very, very low, people can immediately see that you may not have the stats properly for it. That's a big tell when it comes to like raids and stuff when you're recruiting people. I need one more crest. My backpack is also full again. Oopsie. Well, isn't Oakensoul still good? Like, to my understanding, Oakensoul is still very powerful, giving the minor buffs instead of the majors.
A terrifying fortified
Like, it still feels really, really good on the landscape to have. Again, this is my understanding as to how it works. Small but welcoming. And that's another thing why I like DDO generally. The community in DDO is generally pretty welcoming. The bots began to dominate farming spots and rapidly declined. Did the bots dominate farming spots? Ask the guy who doesn't know the answer to that one. Again, when it came to a close, when it was coming to a close, I was playing Ashran's Fall too.
Elf crumpled upon the rocks below.
Around the light attack changes, yeah. In a raid group, we were just doing legendary hard. The worst
The
you'll
rocks here look
get,
climbable.
even if you just wind up as someone Soulstone joked about in Discord chat, you still get completion. Yeah, that's the other thing too. On normal and hard raids, if somebody, this is another thing, if you are running a normal and a hard raid, and you like kick somebody out of your raid because of their stats, you're a problem. Normal and hard raids are not that challenging. If everybody knows what to do, you will beat the normal or hard raid. As long as everybody knows what to do, you're gonna beat it. So you don't need to like min-max or remove people from the raid because they're not performing at like a certain level. Maybe I have all of them. I feel like I walked past everything. But I agree. Reaper 1 and Elite are a little bit different. If you don't have the stats, you kind of just get one shot by mechanics. Okay, I just didn't see where I picked it up.
In this chamber.
The puzzle, by the way, is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, or 4, 3, 2, 1, 4. Every time.
You get the strange feeling that the path has just
respawns in the old nets. Yeah. The bots ran open fellowships, so you get the XP. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad. If you can just like literally, before you go to work, get a fellowship with a bot, and then just go AFK. It attacks, so we can keep the AH vendor. Yeah, that's trading guilds. That's very common. Because it costs them millions of gold to actually get those spots. So they need to tax everybody in the guild. You have to pay your share.
You notice that the floor is totally free of the sand and dust of the desert. Everything is strangely clean. Someone
Your Lantern Archons
is caring for this place.
weren't a trading guild? I mean, it would be weird if you weren't a trading guild and you were getting taxed to have a guild trader. Oh god, sorry. Just looking at my phone to go next. Okay. I'm gonna ignore these actually. Did you know you can actually ignore all these monsters? They can't actually make it through the final door, so you can just ignore them and run to the end. Safer and leech XP rather than contributing? Yeah, I gotcha. Everybody a hard time joining a Pino drives aim bow ranger. We both left and 5 people left after us, so there's no time to an issue. Yeah, exactly.
Very well. If you would be the one
I will not kick somebody out of a raid group for... The only time I get mad at people when I'm raiding is if they just, like, don't listen. If you don't listen, then yeah, I'm gonna get mad. But that's pretty much it. And what I mean by don't listen, stuff along the lines of like, hey guys, we're about to run the raid riding the storm out. Make sure you have an item that has electric absorption on you somehow. If you don't have that, please respec your enhancement tree to take Draconic Incarnation so you can have the absorption effect, or you're going to be dead the entire raid. And then you go, okay, is everybody ready? Did everybody do that thing that you're supposed to do? And everybody goes, yep, we all did it. We're all there 100%. And there's always 3 or 4 people that just get wiped out by the lightning. They go, what the heck? And you go, well, you didn't do the thing I told you to do. And then they just stay dead the entire time and don't help because they were too busy thinking that it wasn't important or that I was lying to them. And instead, they just go like, oh, I don't need to have the one ring in the game that protects you from this effect, or I don't need to use the Draconic Incarnation. And it is a lesson that many of you probably already know, but you could stand to learn again, which is that if you make sacrifices, so if you sacrifice defense so you can have offense to do more damage, you still do less damage when you're dead.
What were you doing here again?
So if you say, I don't want to drop, some of my epic destinies to have the absorption effect out of Draconic Incarnation, because Draconic Incarnation doesn't give you damage through the build, guess what? It gives you way more damage because you're alive.
When you touch the water in this fountain, you feel almost weightless. As though you were floating just above the ground.
Defense into big offense, especially if it's so specific. I don't mind people dying in raids, but that one always blows my mind, dude. Riding the storm out, there's always 3 people at a minimum that just complete, like, every time I run it, this is, like, I tell people, this is what you have to do, or you're gonna die. Do this, or you're gonna die. I'm not making it up. I'm not trying to be like a rude boy out here telling you to do the wrong thing. That's just, it's how the raid works. It's called riding the storm.
A pattern of glowing stones
You're gonna
covers the
get hit by
floor of
lightning. You
this
need
chamber.
lightning absorption. If you
These
don't have it, you're gonna die.
stones reflect
And then
grit
people have like
skillfully
lightning
let out
resistance, or they
aside.
cast like
As
resist
the
lightning on
last
themselves,
at
the spell,
first you feel
that
a
realizing
sense
that the
of
debuff
calm and
reduces your
relief.
lightning resistance
Yet
and
that
eliminates it,
relief
so you need
quickly
absorption.
turns to dread as you notice that you blink awake.
Damn it.
You realize with a jolt that
That's how you had your Nimbus drop yesterday.
You're awake already?
There you go.
I had hoped my hypnosis would
It
have
is,
a more
but it's very
lasting
annoying.
effect. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I don't regret any of the time I've spent on any MMO that I've ever played, I would say. Is there any time I regret playing an MMORPG? I mean, I regret spending not enough time. I regret not spending enough time in Asheron's Call 2 before the game shut down, because that was a really cool game and you can no longer play it, and you probably will never be able to play it ever again. I should probably
Hey
should have played it more.
Strim, sorry I wasn't listening.
Hey.
I was busy throwing my raid across my neighbor's yard while crying, bissing, and shitting shitters while my dog's house's cat's frog keeps eating my spare skittles. Can
Okay.
you explain why you keep throwing me out of raids? Thanks, Cocker.
Yes, I am throwing you out of raids.
You might be able to save
But
the
it feels like it
most.
has a fire absorber requirement. It does. If anything, now that there's alignment absorption, I would almost have the expectation for alignment absorption as
plunge
well.
down into a shaft filled with the monastery's
But,
support
yeah.
beams. You hear the eyes
I mean, the games wish they hadn't moved away from me as hard as they did.
Watch you fall
Yeah.
so far. Not to worry, love.
It depends on the game.
I'll send my dear friends to help you get back on your feet.
You
If your
catch
DPS is
breath
low
after
for a
the
tank.
difficult climb.
Well, sometimes you also get to
You
get
spot
wailed on by
unsealed doors by the
wait, what's the damage of the flame
chandeliers
skull?
above.
It's evil, right?
Surely one of these doors must lead to the chapel.
Pretty sure flame
where
skulls
the
do
eye
evil
awaits.
damage.
After the quarry vanish, you notice dead bodies on the floor. It
Oh, the
appears
projectiles?
that the
Yeah, but you can't block
cultists
all of
the
them.
Hidden Hand have tried and failed to infiltrate the monastery and retrieve the eye.
Yeah, but a lot of people suck, man. You think people can jump to dodge? I'm talking about... Actually, a lot of people in Argonessen are pretty good, even in the Pug Raid party. There are only a few people that I know literally never listen to any instruction they're given in a raid, who I will not name publicly, but they know who they are. No one knows how to dodge the skulls. They probably have fire. They probably have fire absorption, or know why they don't. Yeah, exactly. Is Hunter be hunted hard? On Argo, so there's just so much damage. So this is one of the benefits. If you're an Argonessen player, everybody plays melee. I don't know why, but like literally 9 out of 10 players are melee players. So if you play on Argonessen, Hunter be hunted is actually really easy. What you do, even on hard, is you load the raid on hard, and then you get to the boss, and then somebody says go, and the boss gets time stopped, and it just dies in 10 seconds. That's how we do Hunter be hunted on Argonessen as a pug. Just everybody's playing melee, so you can just instantly kill the boss. It's really dumb. Also, what's up, Nobob? How are you? How's it going today? How's it hanging, everybody? Sometimes they tend to shift over time to attract more players. Absolutely. Yeah, they definitely do. Like, World of Warcraft has gotten easier and easier and easier over time from the basic landscape perspective. And the reason is because a lot of people don't want to come home from work and, like, fight their way in an uphill battle. They just want to, like, play the game.
Overlooking the Twilight Chapel. Yet you cannot.
That's why I think it's good to have some games that cater to that old school mentality and some games that cater to the new school mentality. I don't understand the idea of making new games that cater to the old school mentality. So, like Pantheon, I don't know what's up with that.
If you
But
ever hope to reach
old games
me,
that still exist
you will
that
need
can
to
be
choose
that
between
bridge,
the
that
two
other type of
trials
content, I
have
think
prepared
that's
for
relevant.
you.
Those are good.
The eyes
You know, it's
always
like having
fade,
EverQuest 1
and the
still kicking
vines
around, you know what I
blocking
mean?
your path
They
forward
can give people that
disappear.
feeling.
Through this doorway, you
Now,
see a
Hardcore League
large
makes me so
tile
the servers
puzzle
get
that
worse when
spans
Hardcore
the
League is
floor.
running, so I play DDO less. I think that Hardcore League is something that people do like. I think that the
The last
Redux
tile
season,
turns
this
into
one
position.
being so close to the last
Power
Hardcore League
flows
was
into the signal
probably not a
crystal
good
on the
idea.
wall,
But also important to
dispelling
understand
the
I am part of
barrier
the
atop
problem.
the
I
Twilight
remember when
Chapel.
Hardcore League first announced, I was like, dude, I always want Hardcore League. And now that it's been like a few years of Hardcore League, I'm like, yeah, like a 3 to 6 month break is pretty good.
You drop down into the Twilight
Like I said,
Chapel.
I got to play
Mother
the
Ashira's dusty,
alpha of
desiccated corpse
Pantheon,
lies
and
next
the
to the
alpha
eye
was
of
incredibly,
Dalquor.
I wouldn't even say disappointing. It was
For
just like not even
years,
fun.
I have lulled
There were some
these
cool
mortals
ideas.
to sleep.
Just some of the organic quest systems. They had this
Years
insight
during
system
which
where when
they
you went
believed
places,
they
you would
kept
have
me
visions of the
contained.
past, and that would inform you about quests
When
and things you
in
should do, which is
fact,
really cool.
I
But every
have
single
been
other
the
element
one
of the entire game was
containing them
tragic.
Inside a calm illusion. And yet you
The biggest
still
problem was
wish
waiting.
to
They just make you
shake
wait
them
for
awake?
everything. It was over, I think it was like
You've
over
seen
4
how
minutes to
happy
get your
they
mana
are
back.
now.
So
It
if
would
you
be
like spent all your
such a
mana to get your mana
shame
back,
to
you had to
rip them
sit on the
away
ground and
from
wait like
their
up to 4 minutes.
happiness.
I'm like, bro, you don't need this in your video game anymore. Like, having some downtime between monsters, sure. Make the combat engaging, make it so you want to have some downtime between the monsters, no problem.
I will oblige
like-
you. But if you believed these trifling illusions are my true
Video game just
strength,
play World of Tanks, so yeah.
prepare
WildStar
to
was a
be
weird thing.
disappointed.
Yeah, I never played WildStar. I feel bad
You
that
are
I missed that one.
pushed back into your dream by a force too powerful
There was
to
so
resist.
like not always going
When you
have
rise,
hardcore going.
You hear the eye of Dalquor.
Feel better? Yeah.
One last challenge left. One final
Oh man. Yeah, but I think next year is going to be easier because we know. I think that's the big difference, is that we know hardcore is going to be happening. Unlike this year where we didn't know hardcore, it was like surprise, hardcore league. And so I think that 2023's hardcore is like we know there's hardcore and then another one, which means that people can plan for it. You can choose whether it's something you want to play, and you also know it's a redo. So I might skip out on hardcore 9 because
Well,
I already did hardcore 3. I don't
have
really care.
no more tricks. Despite the challenges I have thrown at you,
Damn
here
it.
you
I
stand.
got the impulse one, which is not what I wanted.
I suppose my reign over
All
this
this other stuff.
monastery has come to an end.
Anyone else notice that everything in life is gamified? Just got an email telling me my kids they got a point today.
For the moment,
Yeah,
at
that
least.
makes sense. Gamifying stuff
You
gets
have
people to
managed
engage.
to break the spell and cure these monks of their peaceful sleep.
I mean, I prefer to the back in the day method of do this or else.
And I still
Now it's do
dare
this, get points.
victory.